Cześć kochani and warm welcome. Today I will be sharing with you very quick recipe for what we call in Polish Orgórki małosolne. If I would want to directly translate the name, it would call like a low salt cucumbers, pickled cucumbers. But really sometimes people call it 2-3 day cucumbers. Well, it doesn't matter what the name is of it. The point is that we will be fermenting those small cucumbers in a way that they will preserve the freshness and wonderful crispy flavor of cucumber, but they will have the added benefits of probiotics. So the recipe is extremely simple. You can adjust the ingredients to your liking after you try the first time. I just went to the market and I was lucky to get those wonderful, very small pickling cucumbers. And for this, the best will be, of course, fresh ones, small to maximum medium size, and very tender. My cucumbers are grown without any chemicals, without any sprays, pesticides, artificial fertilizers. So if you have a chance to get cucumbers like this, then please do, because not only they are much healthier for you, but also the chemicals used while they are being grown, they might affect the quality of your pickles. If you really can't buy anywhere, cucumbers, organically grown cucumbers, then what you can do, just come home and fill your sink about halfway, depending how many cucumbers you have, with cold water, and add about half a cup of baking soda. Dissolve the baking soda and soak those cucumbers for about 20-30 minutes. After that, rinse them well, and even though it's not going to be ideal, but the baking soda bath will remove some of the residue of the pesticides from them. Okay, so now let's start it. I have a pot for it, and you can use jars if you like. You can use those stone vessels, whatever you have. I have this glass container, and I'm not sure if I will be able to fit all of those cucumbers here, but we will do how much we can put. So my cucumbers are washed and ready to go. So on the bottom of my dish, I will put a little bit of horseradish. And if you can get horseradish leaves during the summer and early fall, you probably will be able to get it. Then you may use the horseradish leaves. You can combine leaves and root together. I'm just peeling a little bit because the root outside is not very pretty, and I don't want to have any mold or any rotted parts. And also with your cucumbers, when you're picking them, please make sure that you hand pick them, so which of them is without any spoiled parts, without any bruises, that it's really nice and healthy. So here I have about this size of horseradish. Horseradish will add wonderful flavor to them. Also, horseradish has very strong antibacterial properties, so it will help to keep your gut healthy and have only those good bacteria growing and killing all the guys that are not welcome there. So I'm putting a little bit of this horseradish. I'm just going to move it here. And here I have head of nice garlic. It's fresh garlic from this year, very juicy, very aromatic. So this is again, it's not sprayed, so I'm going to use the outer shells as well. The outer shells, everything has those natural yeasts, and the yeast will also promote the natural fermentation. And I'm just crushing them. I'm gonna put them like this. And I'm going to put half of them and then another half in a layer in between. Okay, maybe three. And now, very important part, because no dill pickle would be perfect without the dill. So you could just use regular dill that just a bunch dill like this. If you can get dill that already went into flowers, that would be amazing too, because the flavor is even more intense. I have one that is right in between, that is slowly trying to become flour. My dill was sitting in the water in the refrigerator, so the endings are not so pretty, and I don't want them to spoil my ferment, so I'm going to put about this nice amount. And as I said, you can play around with the ingredients. And now let's fill the jar with our cucumbers. All right. And I try to always put as many as I can. So I just fill them very, very tightly. And this is another reason. The smaller the cucumbers are, the easier it is to fit them in your fermenting vessel. So I'm about halfway with my cucumbers in a pot, so I'm going to add the remaining garlic. And you can try to put it like in between the cucumbers. It will help the garlic to stay submerged in the water. And I like a lot of horseradish, so I'm going to add a little more horseradish. I wish I have leaves also, but not this time. Oh, dill, a little more dill. Oh my goodness, the dill the dill really does the wonderful job in this. So I have only few cucumbers left. I'm going to add them, but usually let's try not to overflow the jar. So there is still room for the water to cover everything by about at least 1 centimeter, so they are nicely submerged. But because this pickling time is not very long, we're going to do that only for about 2-3 days, then really there is not much of a risk of developing mold, because it's not long enough. One more. So I was lucky. I have only 3 cucumbers left, and those are a little bit dry at the end, so I don't want to use them anyways. And all we need now is just to prepare the brine, which is very simple. For 1 liter of water, I have a filtered cold water here. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of salt. And I recommend here to use non-iodized salt. It's better for ferments. And also salt that it's not refined. Something like gray sea salt or Himalayan salt, because this salt is in natural state. It has all the minerals that our body will benefit from. As a matter of fact, the gray salt has around 80 different minerals. So instead of taking supplements, you will use this kind of salt, and your body is able to use whatever it needs. I'm going to stir it well, and I'm starting with 1 liter. I'm sure I will need more than that, but I will just do 1 batch at a time. And those cucumbers, they will float a little at the top, but that's okay. I'm going to cover mine with the cover. If you have a jar, just put a little cloth over it, just to prevent anything to falling in. Usually it takes 2-3 days, but depending how warm it is in your house, I would recommend to check it after 2 days. And it's good also every day, if you have a chance, just to push them a little down. So the cucumbers that are at the very top, they have a chance to be soaked in this wonderful, flavorful brine as well. Cucumbers been fermenting for 2 days, and it's very, very hot here. The last 2 days we had very hot and humid, so I'm thinking they are ready. Remember, I don't want to turn them into sour pickles. I want to have this fresh, very light salt flavor. So let's see. Such a strong aroma of dill and garlic, exactly how I like it. And let's try it. And the pickles, depending on the salt that you're using, the variety of the pickles, and also the temperature, at this point they may keep their bright color, or they can start turning more yellow, like a sour pickle. So there is a lot of things that will affect that. The most important is the texture and the flavor. So just to show you, I'm pulling 1 cucumber, and it's still almost green, and the other one is already like that. You see the difference? Okay, so let's try. I'm going to start with this one. So delicious, very crunchy, still such a bright, fresh flavor. And at this point, if you feel like you want your pickle to become a little more fermented, a little more sour, leave them for another day. Leave for another day, try again, and you are the one who will determine when you want them to be done. And since mine are good, I'm going just quickly to move my pickles into jars. When you keep your jar on the side, it's so much easier to have them nicely laying beside one another without tipping over. And now I'm just going to fill the jar with the brine. And I want to make sure that every pickle, every cucumber is nicely covered. This will prevent the spoilage. Of course, I will take all the little garlic bits and put it in a jar, or I will eat them right away. The garlic is extremely healthy, and especially when it's fermented, it's even better. And then you can close the jar, place in refrigerator, and this way the fermentation will really slow down. They will keep fermenting, but very, very slowly. I'm sure you will eat them all before they will become sour pickle. And that's all, kochani. I hope you feel inspired, and now you are ready to make your own 3-day pickles, Orgórki Małosolne. And I thank you so much for being here with me, and as always, please share this video with anyone who can benefit from it. If you would like to give me thumbs up, if you find this video beneficial, I really appreciate it too. So thank you very much for being here, and cheers to your health.